Now from the Robin Reed Weather Center, here's your first alert hometown weather forecast.
Well, as expected, we saw a good deal of cloud cover really from start to finish today. High temperatures still managed to get well into the 80s this afternoon. Weak frontal boundary continues to work on through, so mid to upper level clouds for many of our hometowns. Still holding on to 85 at the Roanoke Airport under a partly cloudy sky. A west wind now at 8 miles per hour. Dew point still into the mid 50s. We'll see that drop as we work through the overnight hours. And First Alert Doppler radar has remained quiet for most of us this afternoon. The main activity has been across North Carolina into portions of Tennessee and also through Kentucky today. And that's where we are seeing some of the larger, more intense showers and thunderstorms south of the state line. Some spottier shower activity rolling through portions of the NRV, but not expecting anything strong to severe out there for our hometowns for the rest of today. That weak frontal boundary is continuing to slip on through right across the southern portions of the NRV, down across the south side right now. That drier and cooler air mass is filtering on in with a west to northwest wind behind this front. So I do want to give you the first alert to our next big thing. We'll see seasonable high temperatures here over the next couple of days. A weak frontal boundary will push through once again on Monday, keeping our highs near seasonable into the 70s and lower 80s. Another nice day on the way for Tuesday with relatively quiet weather. We'll see those highs once again 70s and low 80s, but look at what happens mid to late part of the week. Those highs soaring well into the 80s by Wednesday afternoon. By Thursday, upper 80s to lower 90s in many of our hometowns, and it looks like right now Friday will be the warmest day out of the next 7. We're talking about most of us in the upper 80s and low to mid 90s by Friday afternoon. And those are near record values for this time of year. The forecast high here in the Star City, 93. The record high, 95, set back in 1926. Also near record heat likely in Lynchburg. We'll get close in Danville and also there in Blacksburg from 1954. As for rain chances, very limited here over the next 7 days. I have capped rain chances at about 20% or less for the next 7 days. So that means most of you will stay dry for the next week. Those overnight low temperatures with that drier air filtering on in, likely into the 50s for most of us. Some upper 40s certainly possible across the coldest locations, especially across the highlands. And that forecast through the day tomorrow as that weak frontal boundary works on through. We will see some increasing clouds. Winds may pick up in the afternoon, about 20 to 30 mile per hour wind gusts possible. High temperatures for tomorrow, 60s and 70s across the highlands and the NRV, upper 70s to lower 80s, Roanoke Valley, Central Virginia, and through the south side. And checking out that First Alert 7-day forecast, get outside and enjoy the next couple of days. Seasonable temperatures, good deal of sunshine. The heat really cranks up as we head toward midweek. We'll see those highs into the mid to upper 80s and lower 90s likely here Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Very limited rain chances, and those overnight low temperatures warming up near 70 by Saturday morning.